the latest and the greatest. 10,000 troops have been sent to the Caribbean. Let's watch.
U.S. official tells CBS News the U.S. military carried out another strike on a suspected cartel boat in the Caribbean Sea. This marks the 6th boat attack in the area since last month, but it's also the first known instance with survivors. No word from the White House yet on this latest attack, and at this point, the number of passengers and survivors, that's not clear either. The attacks come during a wider U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean. The U.S. is sending 10,000 total troops to the region, and that includes 2,000 Marines, multiple warships, and fighter jets. Meanwhile, Venezuela's president claims he is now mobilizing militia members. Let's go to CBS News Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson. Eleanor, thank you so much for joining us today. What do we know about this latest strike?
Well, Milgo, as you said, it's at least the 6th known strike on a vessel in the Caribbean, and it's the first one that we know of that is thought to have survivors. We don't know who was targeted, how many survived, how many were killed, but the previous strikes in the over a month and a half have targeted alleged drug vessels, killing nearly 30 people in total. It marks kind of this expansion of the U.S. military in the Caribbean for missions targeting drug cartels that have usually been handled by the Department of Homeland Security with interdictions. As you mentioned, there is a buildup in the region and that includes about 10,000 U.S. forces either on warships or on bases in Puerto Rico. That buildup could seem a bit like overkill if these strikes remain limited to just drug boats, but President Trump has threatened over the past several weeks that the strikes could expand to not only international waters, but potentially on land.
Okay, Ellie, so I understand you have reporting on the head of the U.S. Southern Command who oversaw these strikes. So what can you tell us about him?
Yeah, Admiral Halsey, in a surprise move, announced he will retire early, just 1 year into what is a usually 2 to 3 year term. We learned about this first from Secretary Hegseth, who put out a statement honoring Halsey's career, and then a statement from the Admiral himself. Neither of the two men gave a reason for the early retirement. Officials tell CBS that the two men did have some tensions for a while, and at least one official suspected that the firing was going to come in the days ahead of the announcement. But this firing adds, or this retirement adds to a list of over a dozen senior military leaders who have either stepped down or been fired by Hegseth over the previous months since the Trump administration entered the White House. But this one comes at a time during this buildup in the region and will tee up a confirmation hearing in the Senate where senators can ask questions that are still pretty much unanswered about the.
Well, I mean, I think he left because he doesn't. I don't know. The rumor is the reason why he resigned, and they're gonna have hearings on this, is that he didn't agree with these strikes. He told them not to do the strikes. He said not to do it. So Enzo, is war imminent? What do you think?
I mean, listen, we've been fighting a war on drugs since the 80s. The drugs have been winning. So I'm actually happy that this is going on. I think it's hilarious. The funniest thing that I've heard from people when talking about this in my lives, they go, well, they're blowing up these boats without giving them due process. That's the funniest shit to me. I'm like, what the fuck what do you mean? International water, we have to give drug smugglers due process. Like at this point, just get it over with. And we've seen what we can do in South America with changing regimes. We could look at Operation Just Cause with Panama. It'll be quick and fast, done and over with. What was it? Noriega pretty much had the militia there. We took them over in a day or two. I mean, I think once troops land, Maduro is he's not even gonna try. So get it over with. Who gives a fuck at this point? Get the dictator out. That's what we love doing. Democrats love toppling dictators. So let's get ahead. Let's go do it, guys.
All right. So tinfoil hat time. I got call on the person put their tinfoil hat on. Let's talk about all the coups that have failed in South America. There's a lot. Grenada, the Bay of Pigs. Is this a setup on Trump? Is CIA giving him bad intel and about to make him look stupid? That's just my tinfoil hat conspiracy because I love history. Mia, what do you think?
No, so I don't think they're actually going to make him look stupid, and I believe we are going to enter into a war with Venezuela. So Venezuela holds the largest proven oil reserves on the planet. They surpass Saudi Arabia, 300 billion gallons of proven oil, and that doesn't include the rare earth minerals that are sitting there. They've had a 70% production drop of oil over the last 20 years, which means they're not really producing the oil. And the United States, if anybody knows oil, is our specialty is dirty, crude, sour. So the sulfuric, the thickest of the thick, the blackest of the black. That is our specialty, which is why we do so much oil refining for Canada, because Canada has a ton of dirty crude. So we are in a very unique position to legitimately go through, take over, and refine all of that oil there, because the type of oil they have is our specialty to refine. We are absolutely going to get into a war, and we are definitely going to get in there and leach all of those reserves for sure.
I don't think it's all just about the oil, though. I mean, Venezuela is friends with Russia and China, and if they are weak, they are then weak. So I'm not totally in disagreement with him weakening an ally that's so close to us. Ray, what do you think? Is it about oil or is it about the relationships that Venezuela has?
Um, I'm not quite sure. I mean, they've had issues with Venezuela for a long time, and Trump had an issue with Maduro his first term. So, I mean, Trump is very much a person with personal issues. And if we look at past presidents with George Bush and George Bush Sr., they were the father. He was upset at what he did to the father. So, people hold grudges. We're all human beings. I think that's what put Maduro in a bad spot is his personal issues with Trump.
Yeah. But also many people don't know about something, a little known history fact that I'm going to teach everyone tonight. It's called the Monroe Doctrine. And here we go.
Monroe Doctrine, defining America's hemisphere in 1823. Amid a world reshaped by the aftermath of the Napoleonic Wars and the rise of newly independent Latin American nations, President James Monroe delivered a defining statement in his annual message to Congress. This statement, known today as the Monroe Doctrine, set the tone for U.S. foreign policy in the Western Hemisphere for nearly 2 centuries. A bold declaration of hemisphere sovereignty, the Monroe Doctrine was born out of American concerns that European powers, still powerful and ambitious, might seek to reclaim lost colonies or extend their influence in the Americas. Though the United States itself lacked the military strength to enforce a bold policy, Monroe, guided by Secretary of State John Quincy Adams, declared 4 essential tenets. The United States would not interfere in the internal conflicts or wars of Europe. It would respect existing European colonies in the Americas and not interfere with them. The Western Hemisphere was no longer open to future colonization by European powers. Any European attempt to oppress or control any independent nation in the Americas would be viewed as a hostile act toward the United States. By drawing this stark line, Monroe asserted American influence, warning Europe that attempts to recolonize or dominate the hemisphere would not be tolerated. Early challenges and British support initially. The Monroe Doctrine was largely a statement of intent, with little immediate power. America's military was small, and European powers often ignored the declarations. However, the British Navy, with vested interests in keeping other European powers at bay, helped enforce it indirectly. The close alignment of British and American interests in limiting Spanish and French influences in the Americas gave the doctrine a stronger foundation than the US alone could provide at the time. The doctrine's evolution over the 19th and 20th centuries. The Monroe Doctrine was repeatedly revisited and reinterpreted. In the late 19th century, the US emerged as a global power and began exerting more direct influence in Latin America. President Theodore Roosevelt's 1904 Roosevelt Corollary expanded the doctrine, asserting a U.S. right to intervene in the hemisphere to maintain order and sovereignty, turning it from a passive policy into an active assertion of American dominance. This shift saw the U.S. become a hemispheric policeman, intervening in countries like Cuba, Nicaragua, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic under the guise of preventing European intervention and stabilizing the region. This expansion of power was controversial, straining relations with many Latin American nations wary of U.S. intentions. Cold War and beyond. The Monroe Doctrine saw renewed prominence during the Cold War. most famously during the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 when the US opposed Soviet missile installations in Cuba. The Doctrine S promise to keep foreign powers out of the Americas was invoked to justify American actions that brought the world to the brink of nuclear war. Lasting legacy. The Monroe Doctrine laid the foundation for the United States' role in the Western Hemisphere, and reflected its growing confidence and assertion on the global stage. Though debated and reinterpreted, its core message continues to influence American foreign policy. Thus, the Monroe Doctrine is much more than a historical proclamation. It is a testament to a nation's rise, a symbol of sovereignty, and a key to understanding the often complex and contentious relations between the Americas and the rest of the world over the past 2 centuries.
Okay, before Kamal and Kimberly answer, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Guys, we are accepting super chats. Please hit the like button. Also, we have memberships. If you would like our official new party emojis, make sure you get a membership. And we are doing a giveaway tomorrow night. So make sure you come back tomorrow night and be in the chat. We will be giving away 20 memberships tomorrow night for those that are in the chat. So let me tell you what a membership is and then pause for the cause. Hi guys, we have an exclusive offer for the upcoming holiday season. So be a part of the fastest growing political movement out there right now, the new party. If you join for $1.99 from now until December 31st, you get exclusive badges, exclusive emojis, and you also get access to all of our member-only content. For the next grade up, our $4.99 plan, which is for the senators, you get to join a once-a-month exclusive member-only call and ask us anything you like. Link in bio, check it out. Make sure you guys are joining. Also, make sure you're subscribing. Thank you for all your support. Okay, yeah, so come back tomorrow night, everybody. That is our giveaway. Kamal, what is your thoughts? What do you think about the video we watched? Based on what you see, do you think Trump and the Trump administration is right for bombing these boats that are allegedly carrying drugs?
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I didn't really watch the video. I was getting distracted. My cat was fucking being a nuisance right now. I had this little motherfucker. He just knows when I shoot with y'all, and he just started doing dumb shit. So I didn't get to really fully watch the video. I was fucking fighting with the damn cat and shit. But just like what's that character from South Park say? Drugs is bad. Well, hey, shit. You feel me? That's all I really gotta say about it. You feel me? Like, you know what I mean? If he fighting the war on drugs, and if that's the opponent, what can I say? You feel me? Now, do I oppose drugs? I plead the fifth on that.
Oh Lord.
Okay?
Oof.
But
well,
yeah.
You know, it's interesting. The route that he's supposedly bombing, they claim it's a CO route, and it's for going to Europe. It's not even the FET route. I don't want to say it.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
It's what they claim. So I mean, allegedly by that, Kim, what's your thoughts? Do you think it's justified in what he's doing based on the video you watch and based on us and the Monroe Doctrine and us being the police of this side of the world?
I'll one up Kamal. I personally like drugs. If y'all haven't done some drugs,
we online.
Allegedly, this is a comedy sketch.
Okay, yes, I am.
Allegedly, joke, haha, funny.
That is a joke. Forgive me. I actually don't even drink or smoke.
No, you can say it just like talking codes, bro. Just code. Don't say the word. Just codes.
I'm getting y'all memberships to rehab.
Uh-oh.
I really don't even drink or smoke. I'm joking. But yeah, so we shouldn't be bombing boats on international waters. We should, if we think there are alleged drug dealers, they should have due process. We should prosecute them. We should prove a case. There's no evidence that any of these boats are carrying any alleged drug traffickers. There's also no evidence that Maduro is trafficking any drugs. By the DEA, the state, and a lot of other U.S. agencies' own reports last year, there really isn't a significant amount of drugs coming out from Venezuela. If this really was the quote war on drugs, which by the way is failed, it's clashing with the war on terror, which is also failed. It's not a good move. We would be we would have gone to war with Mexico and the Mexico cartels or with China. This is all a ruse. It's a guise. I do think it has to do with possibly the largest oil reserves that Venezuela has in the world. There's actually a really good book, I'm looking at it right now, by Anya Priampil called Corporate Coup that she wrote 4 years ago when the Trump administration tried to coup out Maduro again with Juan Guaido. That failed, and that's why he ended up firing John Bolton. But one of the reasons why we're actually attacking Venezuela, the real reasons, is because it's been Marco Rubio's wet dream since he first came. And a lot of
Because of
these
communism, right?
Right, but it's never really about communism, because if that were the case, then we would have disbanded NATO at the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991. So,
But that's the excuse he's using because he's Cuban, for everyone to know. And he's a
right,
child of Cuban refugees.
right. A lot of conservative Hispanics they have it out for communism, because I'm not communist, by the way. And I also, just as a disclosure, Maduro is an authoritarian. I'm not saying that he's a good leader. I don't think that he's a good leader, but that doesn't give us the right to overthrow him. It doesn't give us the right to overthrow anybody. There's absolutely none, no intervention that anybody could point to since World War II that has been good for the people thereafter. Libya became a failed state. There was chattel slavery in Libya after we did that. That was horrible. We never leave a country better off than it was before. We do it because we want to keep the manufacturers of weapons stocks high. If we're going to end one war, we have to start another one. It's all money laundering. And you're going to tell me it's about drugs? It's absolutely not true. Because then, like I said, then they would have gone after Mexico. Through the DEA's own report, there was zero fentanyl that came from Venezuela at all last year. A lot of the drugs that are from cocaine come from Colombia. So that's all a ruse. It's all a guise. They just want to make fund these corporations. It's just because they have oil reserves and we can refine it doesn't mean we can go in there and do it. We shouldn't, because then it'll cause a huge refugee crisis. We're already crying about the Venezuelan refugees. Why would we want to create more Venezuelan refugees? Let's lift the illegal economic sanctions on that poor country. It attributes to half of the economic turmoil that that country has. Let's lift the economic sanctions on Cuba. Let's let these countries, if they're going to fail on communism, fail on their own. Why do we cripple them with these embargoes and sanctions just because we want to go eventually take over some of their resources and their oils? It's completely illogical. There's no logical argument for attacking Venezuela at all, but they're going to do it anyways because they can.
Oof. Wow, the chat's going crazy. Some people are like, yeah, go Kimberly. The others are like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. But Kimberly has said 0 lies in her answer, in my opinion. 0 lies, all facts.